So good evening. My name is Taru. Thank you for joining us on this week's Circle of Harmony. And for those of us who are joining us for the first time, this is basically an initiative by livinglight.in. And the main thing is that a lighter living is possible. And usually, we are so focused on what we think or we believe is true that we don't even see our facts, we don't see what we actually believe in. So circle of harmony is just, pause in time. It's like a collective reflection, collective ground for reflection in which we pause, we look, we, hear other people's views, and we just give ourselves this room to wonder if this is true, if that can be true as well. So just a pause to maybe expand our thinking or shake ourselves a little bit if possible. So that's the main, you know, I don't know, auchitte or reason for its origination. So every week we have a topic, and the topic for this week is, do I know my obstacles? A lot of us, of course, we all complain, right? But a lot of times it just remains a complaint. We are not even sure why we are complaining. We are not even sure, if we really want to get out of it. Like a very good example that I personally, when I see in myself, I find hilarious. Like a lot of times, it used to happen a lot before, it's less. If I'm having some physical issue, like if I'm having, I don't know, like any kind of ache or not well, I like to, call up my dad and tell him, and then he starts telling me what to do. And I'm like, no, 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 that I don't want to know. It's not that bad, but I don't know, there was something in me who just wanted him to know that, I'm going through this. So a lot of complaints or, pains don't even need a resolution. They are just there. So if we just recognize that, that's beautiful too. So, and it's a circle. We are all, standing at the same, I don't know, and a same space. So at any time, if there's any, comment, anything you would want to question, share, comment, please unmute and share, let just the person speak and we can share. And if we are comfortable keeping our cameras on, I would request you to do that. Otherwise, we can keep them off. So yeah, so I'll share the screen for the topic that was the poem that was written for this week. Yeah, thank you, Sar, for setting on your camera. It's really nice to, see who you're talking to. So I'm assuming we can see the screen now, right? The poem. Yeah. Okay. Do I know my own obstacles? What stops me from expanding, from being the best version of me? There is so much I want to do, yet toward myself, I am often an absentee. What stops me from standing tall? My triggers often make me fall. Under the pretext of complying, am I creating my own walls? Complaining about my conditions won't help me change a thing. If I can see my facts, my hurdles, I can transcend myself, them, and win. So basically, this circle, the main, I mean, what I ideally, visualize was that if we can pause and just, think for ourselves, like what, I mean, we all have something that we want to be or, do better or not do. And yet, a lot of times we are not able to be that person. I mean, maybe we don't even need to be. That's also one of those things. But we admire certain traits, we admire certain things, or we want a certain purpose of our life. And yet, when we look at our lives, it's very distant from where we would want it to be. So if we can all, today share a little bit about what stops me, or, like what I would, where I want to be and I can't. So just maybe a reflect, because a lot of times I feel that just, acknowledging the issue also really helps, because we don't even know what the obstacle is or what my destination or goal is. So just to widen the horizons, our personal horizons a bit, we'll do that in a little bit. But about, again, about the poem, it's like one thing that I strongly feel that I'm absent from my life. It sounds very weird that, are you crazy? How can I be absent from my life? But, we are so distracted all the time. And it's like, again, it sounds a cliche because we hear it so often that we are always either in the present or in not present, sorry, the future or the past, that we are never here. And it's not unless we start consciously trying to be here, momentarily even, is when we realize that we are actually not here, because it feels it's an illusion of being here all the time, which is actually not true. A lot of times I feel that people tell, talking about myself again, tell me things, you do that. And I'm like, I do. I remember once, like, a very good friend of mine, she just said something about a person I was stuck on, like I was always talking about that person. And she was like, I wonder when you'll, kind of, I don't know, stop obsessing about that person. And I'm like, I obsess about that person. It's just like, it's shocking how I don't know that I do that. And the moment she said, I was like, oh, yeah. I mean, oh my God, I didn't even realize that everything I'm saying or doing is moving around that person. It's like, it's shocking not to know that. And that, I don't know, it happens to me quite a bit. I mean, even now at times, it happens. So, how I don't even know myself, and I'm just sticking to the definitions of what people tell me, like whatever, especially I remember, I think I shared this before, when I was building my resume for the first time. I actually sat down and thought that, okay, what do people tell me are my strengths, because I myself didn't know much about myself again, I didn't know what to say. And somewhere in our culture, we are not even supposed to acknowledge our strengths, right? Like we're supposed to just kind of not put it up front, because that would be arrogance or showing off. So we kind of miss ourselves. So just, and that was what I kind of meant, when I wrote that about that. If we could be more present, because we are absent quite a lot, we might not even know that. And then, the complaining thing, I think I already touched. Let me just see. Yeah, and the triggers. There are so many things that trigger us, which stop us again. And I think if we'll share more, we'll see that how the different triggers for different circumstances and different people, and how I personally feel that how it's like, I keep breaking walls, and yet I keep establishing, creating new walls around me. Like if I extend my horizons, they are still within a certain realm. It's not that, okay, it's a fully vastly open, limitless things that I can do. If I could do, I could be here. I, with effort, and grace, I come here, and yet I see that I limit myself there as well. See, how can I do that? That is beyond, that would not, I don't know, for whatever reasons, I keep increasing the limits, and yet I have this habit of clutching to sticking to more limits and stuff. So would want to talk about that as well. Yeah, I don't know why I'm talking so fast today. Yeah, so I think that's a long introduction to the topic, that what are my obstacles? Do I know them? So I think I'll stop now. And if anybody could unmute and share anything about the topic, or why we like the topic, or if they already want to just, delve deep into, okay, this is my obstacle and this is where I see, and yet I feel stuck. So we can share our views. Yeah, thank you so much. Anybody who would want to, I don't know, say a few lines or share anything, is there? Yeah, so I'll start. Yes, Ritu, thank you.
So with me, I think my major obstacle is my own mind. I mean, I think too much. And a lot of times I know that this thing doesn't require thinking. But even without realizing that I'm thinking. So a lot of times we know we can't do anything, but we still want to control. So that is one thing which, in spite of wanting, it doesn't go away. It feels like I have to do something. I have to move. I mean, I have to run around to make it okay. So this is, I think, one of the biggest obstacle I think is there. And the other obstacle I think is my laziness. I feel like I've heard somewhere that if you have a disciplined life, then you become mentally very stronger. मनोबल ज्यादा हो जाता है. So फिर I so many times want to wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning and do two, three things which I've always wanted to do during the day but don't get the time. But every day when the 4 o'clock alarm rings, I'm the last one to be getting up. Everybody else in the house will wake up except for me. So these are few things I think which kind of stop me. But otherwise, I think I'm okay. Maybe I'm progressing a bit slowly, but yes, बैलगाड़ी की तरह थोड़ा थोड़ा प्रोग्रेस तो हो रहा होगा.
It's so strange that I would say you're the most active person I know in my whole life. It's like if I have to say play a game in which somebody would say, proactive, that fastest finger first kind of a game, and I would say Ritu. And yet what we how we perceive ourselves, because of course, we have certain images and we have certain standards. So it's so beautiful that how, first of all, everything is relative, right? Like there's no, again, we keep coming to this, that there's no truth, and yet there's your truth and my truth. So these are facts. And about thinking too much, I feel that that's also, kind of just my take on it, that it's a ego trap, right? That I have to think. Ego is like, I am separate and the problem is separate, and I have to solve the problem. I have to keep at it. Like, it's like, okay, two people fight. One person might be okay in 5 minutes, but the other person might want to spend 10 days on them, right? So is the problem big or small? For the person who's spending 10 days on it, the problem is huge. But the problem for the person who spent 5 minutes on it, it was just very trivial. And it happens, right? Like it happens in our everyday life. So I think that makes me, I mean, problems are not objective, they are subjective. And from my end, I feel that how, jitna bhi I give brain space, something happened and I can choose to think about it or not. And the larger, the bigger brain space I give it, the bigger problem it becomes. That's like, again, not really related to what you were saying about, because if we want to think, we will think, but a lot of things that we think, what I'm trying to say is, don't even need to be thought, right? Like they can just, it's like, I think it would again be kind of a theme for today also. I was just, before this everybody had joined, I was thinking this, that doha, that फलसफी के बीच में, फलसफी की समथिंग के बीच में खुदा मिलता नहीं, डोर को सुलझा रहे हैं पर सिरा मिलता नहीं. I would say 99% of my problems are like that. That there's no solution. I have to transcend it. It's like, I think I heard it somewhere, it was very beautiful, that if there's a river flowing and there's a huge cliff in front of it, it would not say that, Arey, I am so and so river and this huge cliff is there, I will, jump, I will pass over it. No, it just passes around it, right? It doesn't, it's like, okay, you be there. There's nothing I want to do about you. My thing is to move, to merge with the ocean. You can stay and I will walk around you. But when I want to walk around problems, there's something in me that, oh, you are strong. Aren't you strong enough? How can you not, fight this battle? Or how can you just ignore this problem? So in those small, trivial issues, that's where I'm spending my life. And there was a very beautiful quote, I think from Gita. I'm not very sure from Bhagavad Gita or where I had heard it. It was like, it's the problem is not that we don't know our goal, the problem is that we have clear paths to so many smaller goals in our life. I'll think about, say, I don't know, moksha later, because it seems so far, but pehle let me iron my clothes and let me, I don't know, do the dishes. I don't know if that's a good example, but we keep getting stuck in the small, and because this is my brain space, this is what I can do. And if I keep doing the small, I will not reach where I want to. And then I say, why do I keep getting stuck here, right? Because I'm not moving towards where I want to be. And yet, in smallness, I see the realities of my life. You know how if I don't see these things, like you just mentioned, and I'm just talking about my issues, then how will I know what I have to work on? So I think it's a fine balance. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to play a game or confuse all of us, but it's just interesting to know that the small has to be seen so that I know what I'm doing and where I am. And yet to be stuck there is, I think, the issue, like everywhere. As you said, a lot of things I've forgotten. So I
Yeah,
just
but
got,
I get very confused sometimes that where should I stop? I mean, sometimes it is कि छोड़ो अपने आप देखा जाएगा हो जाएगा. Let's just leave it. If it has to happen, it will happen. But on the other side, there's this free will कि मतलब whether I should do something about it or just let go, whether I'm required to do or whether I'm just interfering or just bothering myself. So
my litmus test or whatever that I use personally is that, like, when I think about something, and in thinking about something, I'm feeling expanded. I know the direction is right, but if thinking about something is make me feeling, it's like that feeling in your chest in which you feel like, I don't know, I think the ego kind of is prospering and you're feeling a smallness. That is how I basically say that, okay, this is where I don't want to go. I don't know if you're looking for any litmus test or whatever, like I said, but that's how I choose where, I don't know, this is okay thing or this is not an okay thing, because in reality we really can't do much, and yet the everyday chores, everyday decisions we have to take. So one has to find their own, I don't know, letting go and picking up. Please, anybody who has anything to share from their experience, please unmute and share.
Taru, this is Sharda. As usual, my internet is very weak, so I'm not switching on my video. See, my greatest obstacle is I am not able to be happy. See, there is no reason for me to be sad or feeling heavy. But when we go on the road, when I see people walking, and even the helpers or people who clean the roads, I used to wonder, they will all be laughing, smiling, and they'll be bubbly. I feel, everybody will have problems in life. But I always feel, see, all these simple people are living very happy. They are laughing wholeheartedly. See, they also have problems. They take it very lightly. But see, God has given everything to us. There is no problem at all. But my husband always teases me, you will worry for nothing. Oh, today I don't have anything to worry. So that will become your worry. But I don't know. But I want to change myself. If I go deep within myself and ask, I'm not maybe some fear I don't know what fear is that, but something is stopping me from being very, light. Should say I'm not dirty, but I'm not very light. So I just want to dig myself, but I'm not able to find any answer. I don't know where I'm, to some point it will come after that. It's okay. Tomorrow I'll be all right. I'll tell myself and just leave it. But this goes on and on. So I just want to come out, and we read so many things. Mother has instructed us, in her teachings, be cheerful, always she says, but I don't know, somehow I'm not able to do that. So that is my great obstacle. And I am not free also. I'm very, I feel very shy to talk to people. Yeah, this is my issue.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing it. Takes a lot of courage to actually say these things out loud. And one really, I don't know, needs to, look at things kind of, how it's like, if we are suffering, that means we are not witnessing, right? It means we are participating, because a witness would not suffer. So I think again, how mother talks about, like, stepping back.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's really important, because if you have to see the full picture, you have to step out of the frame. And you are right, like, mother has stressed on being cheerful so much. I think there was this thing that if you can do one thing for me, right? If you want to do one thing for me, he says, ki, be happy, or, be cheerful. So yeah. And, you talked about fear. I remember I'd once spoken to somebody, and I was talking to somebody, and they said that, I'm so scared to be happy, because I know that whenever I've been happy, something has made me sad. So now I am scared to be happy. But, when we got talking, the thing was that we are so scared to be happy because we don't want to be sad. So we are ending up being unhappy all the time, because I'm scared that happiness will be taken away, right? So I choose not to be happy because it will be taken away. And as a result, I'm unhappy all the time. Like, not saying that's your situation at all, but
Yeah.
just sharing some, past conversation. It's like, it's amazing how from where we pick what. So,
So one more example for my behavior. See, our daughter, we have a daughter, so she has completed her CA. For her, she all India rank she got. So we just congratulated her. We thanked the mother. That's all. We didn't have any emotion for that. And I was wondering, see, people, why it is a happy moment, but still something in me, even my husband was, reacting this same way. See, other people will definitely, celebrate it in a bigger, this one, but I don't know, something will stop me. Oh, it's okay. It's all mother's grace. That's all. I don't need to feel happy. I don't know. When I talk to you, it is just coming out. I don't know what is my intention about it, but this is how we behave. Whatever happens good, we'll just feel, okay, it's all mother's grace. We'll do one pranam to the mother, and we'll sit for some time. And that happiness, maybe some fear. If I feel happy, I'll get something bad. I don't know, but I have not thought about it. But I don't know what is stopping me. So that is my, now I want to be light, I want to be as much light as possible, but it is not happening. So I just want to know what are the measures we can do to be very light or happy.
yes, Jyotsna.
I think what I would say, where people react in different manner, or they do not give a full reaction or a pattern to what they really want to be and are not. One is, there is a very subtle, albeit a very strong fear of judgment, which in childhood somewhere takes shape, and one develops a kind of a, not a fear of judgment, I would say, but you develop a kind of a resistance to being judged. And because of that, very often you fall into a kind of a pattern where you play neutrality and you play low key to avoid being in the limelight, you could say, or celebrating your wins. However, you will always underplay. And once we begin to do that, we it becomes a habit. And with that, progressively reduces the enthusiasm even in moments of joy. One feels we follow the stamp of maturity, balance. And sometimes you will feel that you just haven't sat down and laughed out loud for a very long time. You've been too good, or you've been too goody, or you've been too balanced, or you've been too, what we say in Hindi is samta. You've been very equanimous. You've been very calm. We take that as a compliment in our nature, in our character, from our elders. No, she's a very shant person, and she doesn't get any swings of emotions, or she doesn't. So slowly it kind of grows on us, and then we start fitting into a slot. We fit into a kind of a bracket which we like to maintain. If I was to take an example of myself on a personal level, with my profession, I was expected to behave in a particular manner. Very calm, always supportive, always helping, never guffawing, not getting upset, not feeling sad. And so it kind of started to grow on me that this was the way I was supposed to behave. And even though I was of a different nature, gregarious, hilarious, used to have my fun, I got molded, and then that became a second nature to me. Similarly, a person keeps those quiet moments where he becomes quiet out of habit. This is what my wife expects of me. This is what my child expects of me. This is what society expects of me. This is what my patients expect of me. And then it just goes on. It's never ending. So I feel that is one of the mainstays. And if we look at it on a philosophical plane, then like Taru said, she was right, that you step back and watch yourself as a third person, that is this who I really am? 9 out of 10 times the answer will be no. It will be a big, loud no, but it will be inside yourself. I can reveal something. There are times when I am alone at home and I play music. And I play some music which I love to listen to. And I will literally be dancing to the music all alone at home. Even my spouse has not seen me do that. It is something of the slot that I fit in. But that's not me. Me is what I am when I am with myself. Like they give the definition of love. I love you not for you, what you are, but I love you for what I am when I am with you. Again, we fit into that image. So, we make a lot of adjustments wherein we try to fit into certain images and slots which we need not. We need to break the shackles well in time to learn to enjoy, to learn to be ourselves, and to live in every cell of the body with happiness. I learned it too late in the day. I've learned it at 62. But now I've learned it good and proper because I just don't bother about what image I am showing to somebody else. And people say, you could do this. I said, yes, I could do it. And I could probably do it all over again because that is me. And but it now I would always say youngsters should do it that way, not coming to the age where you become a senior citizen and then you think of it. It is always better to live your life well defined and fun before. So that was my take on it. Where feeling sad is concerned, like you mentioned, Sharda, feeling sad is what you do to yourself unfairly. You have to learn kindness. Kindness and compassion first to yourself and then to
Sorry, can you come again? I couldn't hear you
I
properly.
said you have to learn compassion with yourself, kindness to yourself. The moment you are kinder to yourself, the moment you have more compassion to yourself, you will be a happier soul.
So here I have a question. See,
Yes,
if you are kind to yourself,
yes.
doesn't it mean that you're egoistic because you're self-centered? That question always comes because
No.
self-centered people want everything for themselves first and they are not caring for others. So this always confuses me. And so can you
Mother
make it
says your
yeah.
every emotion, your kindness, your love, okay, your vastness, where does it start with? It starts with yourself. And only then it expands.
Okay.
So you automatically see that you tell yourself, look, today, a simple thing, what a teenager will do. Say, Mom, I'm going to be kind to myself today. So I would ask my daughter, what do you mean you're going to be kind? Mom, I'm going to do a total polishing up. And after the polish up, which lasts 1.5, 2 hours, she is glowing with happiness. Not that that touch up did much of a difference, but the point that she cared for herself and she was kind to herself made the difference.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
No, you just paint your nails today. You do some litai putai or some scrubbing and stuff, and you just see how the moment you start loving yourself, you will be glowing without reason. You will be happy for no reason. We Indian women, we have a habit. We never cook what we like to eat.
Yes.
You ask any child in the house, what does your mother like to eat? They wouldn't know. But that mother would know everyone's favorite. Why would you sacrifice yourself? That means you are putting your happiness on the anvil and you are looking after others. Whereas if you included your happiness in the process, you would probably look after others far better. Try it.
Okay. This is a new dimension. I'll try.
It works. It does work. It does work. Kindness, compassion, and stepping back. You step back and watch yourself. What were my movements today when you're going to bed? Where did I go wrong? Was I hard on myself? Sometimes we tend to expect a bit too much. It's not required.
Very true. Very true. Excellent answer I got today. Beautiful. Thank you so much.
You don't need to. You don't need to expect from yourself at all.
Beautiful. Yeah, superb. Thank you, Jyotsna ji. Yeah,
You're welcome.
it was very nice. Yeah. I've never thought in this line, But nobody see, like earlier times, nobody is stopping us, whatever we want to do, we are free to do it. Nobody is going to question me why you have not cooked this, why you dressed up like this, why you have not done this. Whatever we feel like we can do it, but still, maybe let me change.
A simple thing. There were days when I used to be very exhausted and I used to come back tired from the hospital, and I would say, no, I just want to take it easy. I'll just make something simple. And then I would tell myself, no, but it's my moral duty to be happy. I've got to find happiness somewhere. And I had read somewhere that you wear lemon and you wear pink, and those are the colors of happiness.
Okay.
And those days I would wear a lemon or a pink and feel suddenly I would perk up for no reason. So we do things to where you love yourself, and that will reflect on everybody around you.
Beautiful. Yeah. I'll try. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Jyotsna ji and Sarda. It's like, I don't know, especially, I think it's painful to hear that, in our culture, it's somehow you're supposed to be the last, right? Especially if you're a woman, you're supposed to be the last, and your happiness is just to make others happy. And it doesn't work. It doesn't work. You just, like, there's so many masters and mystics, who have said that don't give from your center, don't give from your cup, give from the cup that, give from the overflow. And how do you fill your cup if you just keep, ignoring yourself? There's so many beautiful songs, that हमको मन की शक्ति देना, मन विजय करें, दूसरों की जय से पहले खुद को जय करें. In all cultures, like even in Buddhism, they say that may all beings be happy. But before that, they are like, may I be happy, right? Like, because I am part of the whole and it begins with me. Everywhere it said, how do I bring peace in the world? And they, the answer is that first you bring yourself, peace to yourself, then everything, that's the biggest gift you can give to the world is bring peace to yourself. And similarly for happiness, right? If I am taking care of my child and I'm doing it out of, like all I'm doing is taking care of him and totally ignoring myself, the way I am with him, and when say I've had a 3 hour outing and I've done what I've loved and I've whatever and I'm with him, there's a different level of involvement with him because I am happy. Like I feel content. And this thing about, like that being selfish, I would say it's such a nice selfishness. I hope everybody is that selfish that they can put themselves first, that I have to love myself. That doesn't mean I'm hating others. If I'm saying, if Jyotsna ji is saying cook something that you love too, doesn't mean nobody else's thing gets cooked, because when you are loving yourself, you want, that love flows. It comes out. It's impossible that it stays still you. Because, somehow we fear we'll become selfish, but in this fear of becoming selfish, we really become unkind to ourselves, and that's really sad. That's really sad. If we don't love ourselves, who would love us? Kind like if I don't want to be with me, who would want to be with me? So I think it's a very long journey, but the first step is self love. Very, very, very strong. I would do anything, but I would not stop loving myself. Like if I go and, say buy a bought, lowers, a pajama for my kid, I would choose the softest one. But if I want something for myself, I'll just say, well, I'll order something online. It doesn't matter. Why? Why would I not order get the softest for me as well? I want to get the softest for myself too. And the whole dynamics, like Josna ji was saying, it changes because there's just then more love in the air. There's just more happiness in the air because I matter too. I mean, I'm here on earth. I'm here for a reason. And Sarada ji, you are a disciple of Mother and Shri Aurobindo. I mean, that's so much grace in itself. How they say, I don't know if you know Hindi, that khud pe pyar aata hai, right? When we, like, sometimes when I actually see the grace that flows through me, that's flowing through me, that has done so much, I can actually say this sentence, and it sounds weird, it sounds odd to say it, but aata hai, sometimes. So it's such a beautiful journey, and I'm glad you resonated with Josna ji, and we have done sessions on this as well, this topic of self-love. And it's just beautiful. All we need to do is keep aside this thing that's called selfish, because even if it's selfish, if I will not think about myself, who will think about me? I have to account for my doings here, what I did, what I didn't, and stuff. So I might as well be present and loving towards myself. So anyone else who wants to, I don't know, share anything about this or something else that they want to share, please unmute and share. Thank you so much. Thank you, Josna ji and Sarada again. Beautiful conversation to be a part of.
Yeah, so even I want to say that what Jyotsna ji shared is like so beautiful, so beautiful. I mean, I really found you so adorable while you were sharing, because it comes from your heart and we can feel it. It's like really nice to hear all those things. Yeah, I just wanted to add one thing that, yes, once you start living like that, you also understand that there was no prison ever. So the prison was an illusion in the first place, where you make it for yourself, and also that only with self-love you understand that all the time while you were claiming to love others and be unconditional, it could never be the ultimate, until and unless you realize that loving yourself is the foremost thing and most important. So personally, I feel, yeah, that's been my journey also. Like I could resonate with Jyotsna ji a lot while she was sharing, and I realized that step by step, I have felt that the more I have started connecting to myself, वो सारे जो थे ना, like बंधन, or like self-created, क्या बोलेंगे, self-created, I don't know what to say, like
Shackles.
yeah, we kaise hoga, what will the children do, how will, like everything just dissipates, it just diffuses. The more and more you start addressing yourself and your needs, and understanding how self-love and self-compassion just takes you to another level, where like you feel ki, okay, that last glitch to like what you were thinking, that you really love everybody around, it was really incomplete, until and unless you started loving yourself unconditionally. So that was like what was the journey for me, it has been the journey for me up tak, a long way to go. But yes, I do understand all this a lot better now, especially because of my growing children, and they pointed out to me like simple things like cooking and all. So I have never liked cooking, and yet पहले से ही like बच्चों के लिए तो करना है करना है, and now like they offer it to me and they say like, no mama, like like you do what you want, do you like to make, you make, or you don't like to make. So they help me, fridge पर उन्होंने like weekly menus डाल दिया कि okay कल ये बनेगा. So they try to help me with that, and they take decisions. Then they order for groceries, and they also, because they're like now teenagers, and so they also take charge of what they want for breakfast and this and that, with the intention, one thing mama doesn't like and we should help her. So that is, I really feel ki, and I now feel ki it's okay. मतलब धीरे धीरे, पहले तो बहुत, it was in on your head ki okay, food is something you need to sort, घर पर. But now I feel so free that each one is sorting themselves, and with a lot of regard for me, and it's so beautiful. Then, and I totally take it. I'm not feeling anything. मैं अपना, like, I'm reading, I'm doing my things, and whatever I like. And I just realized, okay, there was nothing in the first place, no barrier. It was just that I had put it around me, no, this is my duty and I have to do it. So this is just one example, but many such. The more I connect to myself, I realize that there was no prison in the first place.
Thank you, Shweta. That's a very beautiful point you made. And it's like, as you walk, the way appears. I think it was Rumi who said that. I think that's true for most situations. And one more thing that I just want to say again about the topic, how it's like when we have been someone for so long, and suddenly hear something like really radical. It's like, how do I do it? Where do I start? But how, I don't know where, but it said that if a room was dark, it takes just one, switch to be turned on and there's light. So you start where you are, right? You just start. You just like don't think of, it's like, say, I think I once saw a small cartoon in which a person was holding lots and lots of bags all around the body, head and shoulders and stuff, and somebody else comes dancing around, and the other person is like, how do you do this? How do you don't have baggage, and how do I keep this down? It didn't say anything, but how do you keep your bags down? How, if you're holding so many of them? You just keep them down, right? There's no how to it, and you move. So there are so many times in which something inside me questions, like again about the topic of obstacles. It's like sometimes situations are such that it seems so complicated, that there's so much that needs to be sorted, and that, again, talking from my own experience, like with a friend, like it got so complicated, and it was like, the other person is somewhere else and you're somewhere else, and there's so much regard and respect, and yet it's so opposite where you're standing, and where do you go from here? It just happened that the thing had to be kept down, and you just move on. That, okay, it cannot be sorted. I don't want to spend another 5 hours sorting this. Life is too short. It's too beautiful for me to even spend 3 minutes trying to solve the problem, and I can move beyond the problem, because still I feel the problem is troubling me. It's troubling me. If I'm ready to move that, yeah, it's happened. I don't want to know the solutions. Everybody is right. Yeah, we see that, right? In each and every argument, or I don't know, disagreement, we see that everybody is right at their place. There's no if and but about it. My ego tells me mine is the best place. She's right, but I am righter. That's not true, right? Everybody is right. How do you move beyond this? You just move beyond it. Keep it, the ego baggage, or how did it happen to me? How could you say this to me? You just keep it down and you move. And that is the fastest way. You don't solve the problem. I can't say, for example, be happy. How do I be happy? It's a problem. You start with smiling, right? You just start, and again, you walk and the way appears. And I think again, it was him who said that, be like the melting snow. It melts itself. It like apni problem wo khud hi melt kar leti hai, right? Like the snow melts itself, and then there's spring and summer. So yeah, just wanted to say that there's no how. Yeah, please, anybody who wants.
So
Yes.
I feel, like you said, being cheerful, and resonating to and doing, actually engaging yourself in what you really like to do. So at such times, this is what has helped me. Like, okay, agar kuch lag raha bhi hai challenge, at that time, just to like Jyotsna ji said, like, just taking a step back and engaging in something that you really enjoy, that somehow dissipates it, and you see that, actually हम सोचते हम करता था, we have to do those challenges also, like, most of the times they just go away. Like, we take everything so seriously. I think getting back to a cheerful innate nature and engaging in things that you deeply connect at such times, taking, just disconnecting from that energy of worry and all, it just has a beautiful effect on those issues and challenges that, that also I feel I have experienced.
Actually, on a colloquial term or on a superficial term, it's like you just say, just let go. You let go and you move on. You shed it there and let go and move on, and then you realize that that problem was just a ghost. It didn't exist. It was us who made it big, but it didn't exist. So you have to learn to let go and move on. Once you do that, things do take a different shape.
And Yosna ji, it's like, what you were saying, while I am within the problem, I can never say it's small, right? But the moment I step out, or if I say, it must be so important, but I don't want to be available for it, suddenly it feels that, oh, why I was stuck there. It's hard to recognize your own self when we are out of the picture sometimes, right? Like it's magical because the one who's standing and fighting, you're not just that, right? Like an aspect of you are mostly your ego, right? The one who has picked up it's personal, right? It was my thing and why was that done? But the moment you are able to dissociate with that I, it doesn't seem like even a problem, right? Like that, again, that thing that if I am able to witness, I can see. But if I'm participating, I'm suffering. I can't do both, right? I can't be a participant as well as a witness. We are already down almost an hour. I would encourage other people to, it's a beautiful topic, to please share from their own lives, any experiences, anything they would want to, bring out here so we can all learn from that and reflect.
Hi, Taru. Priyanka this side. How are you?
Very well. Hi, Priyanka. Welcome.
Thank you. I think, when we talk, if I was just reading the topic, the headline again, that, what are the obstacles? If it is a person, I think it's easier to just leave the person there and move on. But if it is if it is a position where you are in a self doubt mode, because self doubt can become a very big obstacle, so then it is very difficult to deal with it, because in your own mind, in your own thoughts, you are doubting yourself, and then you feel the people around are also sort of endorsing it, and so that becomes a very big obstacle, I feel sometimes. So maybe if we can talk a bit in this direction, that would help.
Pri, one question. What, according to you, is ego? Sorry, Jasmine, do you want to go first?
Yeah, sorry, I missed that, what the person before said. If you can just summarize. I just kind of went offline.
You mean
tell me?
Priyanka?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, the name. I didn't catch what the person said before.
Okay,
Yeah, so,
Priyanka, would you want to, yeah.
Yeah, so Jasmine, I was saying that yes, self-love will let us heal if a person, the obstacle is a person, we can leave the person, or not get involved in sorting it, we can just leave the baggage and move on. But if the problem, if the obstacle that we are facing is self doubt, that we are doubting ourselves, and so that, how to resolve that and how to work on that, that is what my question is.
Thank you. I just wanted to follow the conversation. So.
Yeah, so Priya, I was asking you, could you define ego for me? Like, how do you define ego?
Ego is all around us. I mean, like if I talk about myself, from my experience, I feel it so many times, and I feel that probably this problem that I'm facing is because of my ego. If any such situation happens, and it is so difficult to let go, so difficult to realize yourself, or so annoying if somebody else tells you that you're wrong, and that is that is ego. If you're not able to tick all the boxes for the day, अपने आप से ही गुस्सा आता है, अपने your ego starts telling you, how could I not do this, or so in everything and anything, I think it plays a role.
Yeah. The first thing that came to me when I was hearing you was, firstly, wherever there's I, there's ego. And somehow we feel that, egoistic person, this is what they look like. They'll walk like this and they'll be snooty, right? But in the negatives, in my suffering, in my guilt, that I am suffering,
Yeah.
it's that too is ego, right? Wherever is I, first of all, to recognize that is ego. And you said something twice which I found pretty surprising. You said it's easy to leave a person, right? It's not easy to leave a person, but you said it very strongly that it's easy to leave a person. And yet, when I look at myself, I'm not one, I'm many, right? Like there's one Pri who loves this, there's one Pri who does this, there's another Pri, right? Like, and there's so many times that I have different views depending on how I'm feeling about a person, about a situation. So if leaving a person is easy, then leaving that person in me also is a possibility who believes in self-doubt. Either there's faith or there's self-doubt, right? Like these two can't coexist, right? Firstly. And it's like we had a very beautiful session on faith. And it was like, I was sitting with something and I was kind of doubting myself, and it was very odd because I don't usually doubt myself, and yet I was facing something, and suddenly, this thing just came through me that I don't have faith in me, but I do have faith in you. Mother's picture was right in front of me by chance at that time, and it wasn't that I thought of that sentence, it just flowed through me. And it's been, I think, more than 10 to 12 weeks, and whenever I see an ounce of anything that comes a question mark, suddenly this thing just comes to me like a tornado, that I do have faith in you, right? Like I am this, and this is my small life, and this is what I think I need to do and not need to do. And yet there's something divine, one could believe in the mother, one could not, but everybody believes in something, right?
Yeah.
Some truth, some higher form, Krishna, or just a supreme power. And
Yeah.
everybody would believe that they would know what they are doing, right? Like usual, the perception is we are the children, and they are the ones taking care.
Yeah.
So in each and every slap that I am getting, there's somebody who loves me so much that he wants to teach me, that he wants to correct me, right? So I think, that self-doubt, it feels like, how that demak, that termite is there that eats you from inside, it's kind of eating you from inside. And again, it's like, how do I get away from it? You just stop believing in it, right? Like there's so many different worlds coexisting at one time that you just stop. You just, I have believed in this, and it has only just done negative, right? It has just increased my ego again and increased the suffering quotient. And I If I just recognize, I mean, first of all, recognizing and accepting is a big step.
Yeah.
And then it's just, I reject, right? Like if that thought is coming, it's like I've done it, it sounds crazy, but if something is coming to me which I don't agree to, you know,
Hmm.
that, and yet it's coming to me again and again, I just say, I reject. You know, I reject.
Hmm.
I don't let it complete the sentence. You know, you are I say I reject. So it
Hmm.
just, because I have to be present to give it attention, right? Like I have to sit there and listen to it cry. And I
Yeah.
can only do that when I'm so free that okay, हाँ हाँ आ जाओ कोई भी आके मेरे सामने रो लो, मैं तो free बैठी हूँ, right? And the other thing is I have so many other things to do which could actually be so much more meaningful to me and others. So I would rather be
Hmm.
there than sitting here and say कि हाँ हाँ यार मेरे को तो बड़ी problem है, you know, kind like just different perceptions that
Yeah.
that is also a possibility, right? Like how do you get up from, you know, away from small problems, you choose a bigger problem. The bigger problem is कि, you know, what is happening to my birth, you know, ये जन्म कहाँ जा रहा है, right? You know, what am I doing, what is the purpose? Like if we start focusing on the right questions, the
Hmm.
problem is, you know, we keep, I don't know, fighting in battles which mean nothing, you know, small battles that even if we win in them, it's not a win.
Yeah.
But if we choose the right battle, even if we lose, you know, it's
Hmm.
at least we were fighting the right battle, which meant something that could take us somewhere closer to where I want to be. ये सब तो इन अ वे
Right.
हमारे टाइम पास चल रहे होते हैं, यू नो, अपने से भी और ये सब भी, सो दैट आई डोंट फोकस ऑन द इम्पोर्टेंट.
Hmm.
Please, anybody who wants to share from, you know, their own experience, please unmute. Please share. Thank you.
On the issue of self-doubt, I would always say that if you bring in even a small amount of clarity of thought, clear thinking, where you, again, the stepping back and loving yourself, just try to think a little clearly, a little clarity of thought, and the self-doubt will vanish. You will realize it doesn't exist, it's your own concoction. And it need not have come to cause the chaos in your life. So, uh, whenever something of a self-doubt comes, you keep it aside. When you have your own me time, you step back, replay the sequence of events, and you will find that there was a lot of force and food that you gave to that self-doubt, which was uncalled for. It was not required. And that clarity of thought comes only and only when you step back in the witness mode, what we say as witness mode. You watch what exactly happened. Why am I doubting myself? Why have these sequence of events come to me? And it will unfurl to you itself, even not even in a discussion with anybody. It will come.
Yes, Jyotsna ji, very well pointed. You know, it's like we get so stuck up in these personal ego games again, or these, I don't know, self accusations or others, that we don't see facts, right? Like, you know, I'm a weak person. But if I look at myself, you know, okay, okay, I've done this is, would a weak person be able to have done that? The answer is no, right? Like, if we actually can just sincerely look at facts, you're 100% right that, you know, I think everything will dissolve and nothing will be able to stand in front of us if you're able to do it sincerely. Yeah, thank you
I
so much
found
for
it with
sharing this.
myself in at some stage in life. I used to think, oh, maybe I was not right. And then I realized, but at that time I had not read so much of Mother and Sri Aurobindo. But then there's something that told me that, there's a small voice that talks to you, your psychic being, where you don't want to listen to it because it's not loud enough. Then I used to sit back when I was alone and I used to replay everything, play the tape again, look at it objectively, and I realized, my God, I need not have given it so much energy. Why did I give it so much food? फालतू का उस पे इतना किया. And it just goes. It definitely goes. And self-doubt, and clarity of thought are so well connected, because self-doubt is clouding of the thoughts. There's a veil in the front which totally clouds your perception and your vision, and the doubts start coming. When you step back and reveal to yourself that, okay, this was not like this was not like this is not what I meant, this is not what was my intention, then what am I worrying about? And suddenly you're a happier soul in the next few minutes.
Thank you, Jyotna ji. The other thing that, I think is a big obstacle is, the instant gratification that we need, instant approval. Instantly बस चीजें हो जाए, चाहा और बस 2-3 दिन में ऐसा हो जाए. Okay, if not 2-3 days, let me give it a week's time. Okay, अभी भी नहीं हो रहा, 1 month, and that's it. So जो instantly हमें चाहिए, लोगों का प्यार, approval, gratification, okay, I wanted this is happening. I think that becomes a big obstacle again.
Expectation and gratification
Yeah.
should not exist. You don't expect, you're a far happier soul in life. Forget going up to the level of gratification. You just don't expect. You, like, one of the essence of the Bhagavad Gita is, you apna karam kar aur bhul ja. Don't expect. If you stop expecting, I would say 95% of your problems will disappear. Because where does expectation come from? It stems from the ego. उसने मुझे thank you नहीं बोला, उसने मुझे thank you नहीं बोला. You see, so ego comes to the forefront and it expects. And when it expects, it gives you a push, and your desire is to get thanked. So one leads to the other. Ego leads to desire. Desire goes to hankering, and hankering causes a demand, and that demand leads to unhappiness. And then it's a cycle. It's a very vicious cycle. But if in the first instance you don't expect, you just do and go, you will be a free soul. Try doing it with your near and dear ones. You'll find that it's as if you're flying in the house the whole day. Yeah, that is the essence. Actually, it's the essence of the Gita. Very tough, but it's not so tough. If you tell yourself, नहीं, मुझे expect नहीं करना चाहिए, मुझे दिलदार होना चाहिए. You make a beginning that way, that, okay, pat yourself on the back and say, well done, you didn't expect this time. And it'll become a habit.
It sounds big, right? It sounds really big. And like when Jyotsna ji says it's the essence of Gita, it sounds even more further, right? But somehow, again, I know we're coming back to ego again and again, that ego wants to believe that I am right and everybody else is the problem, right? But if you again just look at those facts, that how can everybody else be the problem and you can be right all the time? And about expectations and gratifications, it's like I have gotten those so many times in, those 30, 40, 45 years that I've lived. How many times have I had my expectations been met? They have. Am I happier for them? No, I just want more. How many times have I been gratified? Several. Have they, made me into something? No. I was a beggar. I've gotten so many coins. I have, it's full of them. And yet, those things that I get in my begging bowls, they don't last. So I think it's time to see again, look at the facts that what does expectations, even if they are met, actually give me? And the answer is actually nothing, because उसकी कोई ज़रूरत ही नहीं है, कोई जगह ही नहीं है, and yet I expect कि हाँ मेरे को तो इतना मिलना ही चाहिए, but लाखों बार मिला, what did it actually give me? And the answer is nothing. It gave you nothing. It just made you a bigger beggar with a bigger bowl. That yeah, 10 people clapped and said I did good work. Now next time 100 should clap. So now it's my facing of fact. Do I want to remain the beggar, or I want to put the bowl down and say that, how it's like that they say that the battle was won by the one who didn't fight. What does this mean? Who didn't play these games? Like before even winning, going for fighting, I know I'm like, just because I don't know, I feel like a winner, I've already won. I'm like, you can do it like a dance, or you could do it like it's a war kind of a thing. There are so many of such things exist, and they're easy. They are not just words. If you actually sit with them even for 4-5 minutes and reflect on them, it's not tough. This is tough how we live. These ego games and these sufferings and these expectations, and इतना तो मिलना ही चाहिए था. I expected so much, and now I'm just expecting this कि यार एक thank you ही बोल दे. This with this decrease, जैसे जैसे हम करते रहते हैं और bitterness का level increase करते रहते हैं, it doesn't take us anywhere. There will be a day when we'll all of us, in our own time, will be putting the bowl down and walking away. And then we'll be like, oh, why were we holding the bowl for so long? It's so beautiful to be without the bowl, right? It's so much lighter and freer to be without the bowl. Who has ever given me anything? Nothing. जो दे सकता है वो तो दे ही रहा है, बिना मांगे दे रहा है, और जिससे हम मांग रहे हैं वो दे नहीं सकता. तो that's, I guess, enough said on that, at least from my side. Anybody else who has any sharings, please unmute and share. Thank you. Priyanka, is anything like, anything coming to you from these discussions, like any resistance, anything that?
No, I think it's very, very clear. I mean, it's helping me with the clarity of thoughts. Definitely. Thank you.
Don't let it be just a, intellectual exchange is what I would, request. Ke
Yeah.
karke dekhna, just experiment it once, like Jyotsna ji was saying, and you will be amazed that, it's like hum bolte hain, this is my habit, right? Habits kaise form hote hain? Because we just have been doing something a certain way.
Yeah.
And the moment we stop changing our ways, and then that becomes a habit. It sounds tough, but again, it's just a matter of being honest and just, stepping in a different direction. And it's a much, again, lighter thing. But if there's anything that's coming to you, please do share, like anything more. Yeah. Thank you so
And
much.
I think it's also about, fueling yourself. I mean, we all know that, yes, it is a ego game. Yes, I'm expecting. Yes, it is. But then in due course, we forget. And then we are back to, the line again. And then probably that's the reason it's important to talk again here about this, like I'm doing it today, so that you fuel yourself with the right frame of mind to then work on it again, because it means a lot of working. अपने ऊपर ही बहुत काम करने की जरूरत है, जो आपको बार बार करना पड़ता है. अगर आप उसमें सक्सेसफुल हो गए और आपने जिंदगी निकाल दी, तो you have attained moksha, मतलब आप सक्सेसफुल हैं आप. But yes, for somebody like me, it is about just going back to the line, then again restarting, or just energy lekar dobara, then start working on yourself. That is what my thing is.
Yeah. Company, the Upanishads say this, the Vedas say this, the company is one of the most important things. The most important, not even one of the most important things that they stress on. And the other day I was listening to a small anecdote, Buddha, he had a follower called Anand. And I think once Anand said that, if you have the right company, I would say that 50% of your issues are solved. And Buddha said, no, Anand, 100%. It's like what you're surrounding yourself with, who you're surrounding yourself with. Like you're saying that, one needs to refuel. One needs to refuel when one goes away from the fuel station, right? And then runs and
Yeah.
runs and then, but that is also a possibility that one lives in the fueling station, right? Like that connection is always there. You give yourself like everything, we say that we give time to, like once a week, twice a week, whenever we can. We make it a constant thing to stay connected with whoever, with whatever we feel gives us the fuel. Then that refueling would not be needed in such a big degree, right? It's just a constant flow and it will be
Yeah.
easier.
So
Yeah. So today's topic, basically, again, what are my obstacles? If anybody else wants to share anything about their life or comment on anything that we have been discussing, kindly unmute and share.
So I'll share my reflection. So I'll go, I think, a little bit step further, but then you guys have been discussing, like when you actually start, kind of paying attention to self-love, all that. So what I found is, because somebody mentioned the sadness, again, there are layers. I think you peel off the layers. So what I found, like I got to a good point, a good point where you feel that peace, calm, you feel more connected to yourself, and you work through your own ego or bullshit, what I call it. You see your own bullshit seriously. So there's this clarity. It has nothing to do with the out. It just I'm working very much deep within. And I felt, I hope I make sense. I felt peace, but at the same time, I felt this sadness. You know how somebody mentioned that I was just sad. And then I sat with that sadness and that peace at the same time. I could feel both sadness and the peace. It's almost like what you say, that witnessing, like, I had that distance with both. And I realized, I don't know if that's the right conclusion or not, but that's what I feel, that when this new thing, because we're so used to the patterns and what they say, the devil, for the lack of better words right now, like even that thing that you're familiar with, even if it's not serving you, there's some sort of like attachment or comfort or safety you develop there over a period of time. So for me, that peace was beautiful place to be in, like really nice place to be in. But the fact, it's almost like my old self was just, something was dying. It felt like that because the sadness felt like a grief. It's almost like I didn't want to leave it. I was, how you say, I wanted to hold on to it as well, sort of in a sense of safety, So, and I'm still working, even with this awareness, I'm still working through it. It feels like it comes up in those moments. I recognize it. It doesn't overpower me in that sense, like before. But I don't know if So you had any experience like that, or you have anything? Because I'm not familiar with mother's work. Like I haven't read it directly, but if you have something to say about that, do I make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Is anybody wants to comment on this? Like, I mean, for me personally, Jasmine, it's like, we are so attached to my images of me. Like, let me use I, that when it's like, say, if I meet an old friend whose company I really used to enjoy, his jokes
Mm.
used to crack me up. And he was visiting us from the United States, and we were so excited, so much preparation that he'll come, he'll come, he'll come. And 5 minutes down, when I was sitting with him, his jokes weren't funny anymore. He was just from the last I don't know, 15 years, I think he was making the same jokes, and
This is funny.
they
Literally.
just weren't funny. And I felt so much sadness in me, at that time, that it was funny to feel
Hmm.
sad, that why am I not feeling happy at his jokes? So I don't know if that makes sense, but and then you laugh at yourself, right? It's like,
Yeah.
because I expected myself to have that kind of a gratification. Oh, what a evening!
Yeah.
And I had arranged for a babysitter and this and this. We'll go out clubbing, and after 10 minutes, I just told them that the kid is not feeling well, and I don't think I can join you. So please, because I just couldn't bear to hear those jokes for another 2 to 3 hours. So I think it's again about transgender.
I can
Thank you.
literally relate to that
Thank you.
experience.
This has happened with me also, Taru.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
in
it's
literal
like
sense.
you see that sadness, and I really loved the way Jasmine had put it, that she sat with the peace and the pain, right? That right, that time also, I was like, okay, I can go out. Maybe something new would happen, but I was like, I don't want to waste those 2 to 3 hours and then have, uh, I don't know, sleep late, wake up late. I have realized just from the trailer that I don't want to watch that movie again, and to step back. So it does, I mean, it can bring, that pain I feel for myself was very superficial, and it's like, it's like ऐसा लगा कि अच्छा पेन है, शुभ, like it's a auspicious pain that I'm feeling, that a older part of me is dying, is dead, it's not there anymore. And I don't know, I want to say good riddance, because I've laughed on those jokes enough. They are not funny anymore. And that's a good thing, although it did pain. And it's obviously, it didn't happen once, it's happened several times. And I'm sure we would all agree that how we grow out of people, it's like we grow out of certain things. And yeah. Priyanka, you can share. You seem to be pretty into it too.
No, I had a similar situation, so I could actually relate to this. So, okay, the other thought that is coming to my mind, I'm sharing from my personal experiences, that I see a certain pattern getting repeated in my life with regard to people or situations. And if I can be more specific, it is with regard to my professional life, that it goes on a high. It there are the work is applauded, the reward is given, everything works around, and then I know there are people not liking it. And then and this is, I'm talking a stretch of 7 to 8 years, and then around after 6 to 7, 8 years, there comes a situation where it becomes very, very tough, and things seem very negative, and you have to step out. So, and this pattern, I have a work ex of around 20 years now, and I have seen this repeating for the third time. I have honestly been very loyal to my companies, or old with my companies. So with a switch of 3 jobs, I see this pattern repeating. And now when it is happening for the third time, I'm feeling that it's an obstacle. uh, is it something that I need to work on? Why do this same similar situations, I wouldn't say same, why do these similar situations come to me and they become such a big problem or such a big obstacle for me? So, but I'm not able to figure out why is this repeated. Is it me? Is it कुछ होता है कि आप similar situation में बार बार आ जाते हो because of certain reasons. Not too sure why it happens.
Just from my experience, whenever I see a pattern, and I see them often, thankfully, like first of all, it's really, I think, a big congratulations to somebody who can see the patterns, because there's one thing that's always common in those patterns. Would you want to say what that is?
I mean, I see similarity in all these times. Like I said, that uh, very warm welcome. Everything is
So one
appreciated,
constant,
rewarded.
like the pattern you're saying, right? Warm welcome, this, and
Yeah,
it
yeah,
ends
yeah.
up there. But the common factor is I am there, right? I
Yeah.
changed 3 companies, but I am still present in all those companies where this happened, right? So that
Yeah.
gives me an indication that the problem is I am part of the problem, right? Like the first thing is there's something it has to do with me.
Yes.
That
Yes.
is very clear.
I'm
Yeah.
realizing that now.
Yeah. And plus, it's like whenever I see a pattern, I see that there's something I need to let go of. I'm expecting something, or I'm sticking to, again, certain image or certain demand or certain limitation. And there's somebody who loves me so much that until I let go, they will not leave my side. They will keep on presenting the same situation, with different faces again and again and again. The doorbell will be rung again and again till I open the door. So I think that is an individual thing, that what it is. But there would be something, I mean, if you sit with yourself and we can, talk later again, that there's always something that I need to let go of, that I'm holding on to when I find myself in different situation. And it happens to everybody, because we all stick to
Okay.
certain things. So the
It's
good
good
news
to,
that
honestly, yeah, it's good to hear that. I mean, not good, but really, but I was feeling I'm the only one, but okay, good to know that people go through similar situations over a period of time in life. So I'm not the only one.
yeah, 100%, like there would be no I think buddy who would like, and please, why don't and I don't know, anybody else also unmutes and share about this.
Just want to say, I've been through the similar situations too. And it's only through that you recognize the pattern within yourself. Like you see, you are the common factor, right? So definitely that's a constant challenge, and that's how we get to know each other. So each ourselves, I mean. So yeah, I can definitely relate to that.
And what is odd is, usually if there's somebody, a friend or somebody who is with you, through a certain period of time, they will be able to point out the issue, or whatever that needs to be let go of, much easier than you, because they have been out, they have been with you, and yet they have been in that step back position. Because whenever we are living, we are so
Yeah.
enamored by the, I don't know, bells and whistles and the glamours, or like we are so stuck in the stories that we don't often see our facts. So if we are able to see things factually, that why do I even go there? What do I want? Why am I joining similar companies like this? What do I want out of there? Kind of a thing. And जहाँ पे जो मैं मांग रही हूँ, क्या वहां पे वो है भी, right? Like that is also kind of a question, that maybe this is it. It doesn't have what I want, and I'm just kind of going to the wrong doors. So, but this,
Okay.
I think the pattern thing definitely is the way the universe works when it wants to show you that, you know, you're being stuck here. And yeah. So it's past 9. If there's anybody who wants to share a bit before we end, please unmute and speak up. Otherwise, we'll be. Jyotsna ji, Ritu, and you haven't spoken in a long time. Any last comments or anything? No?
Step back and watch yourselves. That's all I would say. A lot of obstacles are tided over. And of course, love yourself.
Yeah, so Jyotsna ji, I think I'm gonna wear my pink night suit today.
Yeah.
It actually makes a difference, you know. I mean, just the fact that you're doing something for yourself makes you feel
Yeah.
related.
Definitely. One does. And it's just, it gives you a sense of such elation, you know.
Yeah.
So I think then we'll call it a session. There's just 2 quotes I read which were very beautiful that I want to share just before we end. One is a quote by Khalil Gibran, and he says that braving obstacles and hardships is nobler than retreat to tranquility. The butterfly that hovers around the lamp until it dies is more admirable than the mole that lives in a dark tunnel. You know, just about, you know, how when we say, oh, this is too tough, or, you know, this is too difficult. So I don't, again, fight the right battle. I just, if I keep just hiding in my tunnels, what life is this, right? Like I'm here for a reason, and if I just keep evading or saving myself, I have to die eventually. Who am I saving myself from? So just that, you know, live while you can and fight when you can. And this is a quote from Ramana Maharishi. And he says that it is the ego which raises difficulties, creating obstacles, and then suffers from the perplexity of apparent paradoxes. I just say that again. It is the ego which raises difficulties. You know, it takes everything personally, creates obstacles, and then suffers from the perplexity of apparent paradoxes. Find out who makes the inquiries, and the self will be found. So, yeah, so I guess that's it. Thank you so much. It just feels a bit incomplete today, but we have yeah, it's 9:05, so we have to end. And so thank you, Jyotsna ji, Ritu, Jasmine, Priyanka for joining us today. Priyu, do you want to say anything?
No, just thank you. And maybe I'll connect with you later then. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks, everybody.